Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brandon Elrich is So Gay. This is episode 12. And before we go on, I want to remind you to like and subscribe to my publication. I'm a freelance writer. I don't make a lot of money, so a paid subscription would really help me out. 2 weeks ago, I talked with my friend Allie on the podcast, and it was a lot about sex. Last week, I gave you a short update of my journey on the dating apps. This week, I thought I was going to have Allie on again, but she had a migraine and she's spent a lot of time in bed the last couple days. So, Allie, I hope you're feeling better. I don't get headaches very often, but I've had one for the last couple days too. I think it must be the weather. We've had a lot of ups and downs and rain. But anyway, I don't really truly know what a migraine feels like, but I can imagine it's not great. This week, I'm going to talk about mansplaining, gaysplaining, and why gays and females, gay guys and females, are such good companions. A while back, I wrote an article called Let Me Gaysplain Something to You. It was my most popular article to date. It was guest posted on Smilu's publication. Smilu? Smilu? I don't even really know how to pronounce his name. I guess if it was Smilu, there would be an I in there. Smilu. I could just call him Smilly. It doesn't really matter because this podcast isn't even about him. But he wrote an article about mansplaining. Basically, he mansplained mansplaining, which is the ultimate. Straight men are arrogant. They think they have the answers to all life's problems, and it's their duty to tell you how to solve them, whether you ask for it or not. They're the kings of hindsight and what you should have done. My dad was an expert at this. Whenever I made a mistake, or really anyone, he would say, "Well, you should have done it this way," or, "Well, you shouldn't have done that." Yeah, thanks. That's not really helpful. Usually, when I make a mistake, I realize why and I can correct it next times. But, of course, he has to point it out. And he, it would have been really helpful if he would have taught me how to do something in the first place. There are only two times in my life that I remember him trying to teach me something. And one of them was when I was in elementary school and he put a basketball goal up in the garage. He played basketball, so of course he wanted his kids to learn how to play basketball, whether they wanted to or not. I was not interested, but of course he tried to teach me and it didn't go well. He was not, still isn't, a very good teacher. He was very impatient and he would get frustrated and not understand why we couldn't understand how to do something. But I did end up joining the basketball team in fourth grade. I can't imagine that that was my idea, but I very rarely had got my hands on the ball. There was one time I remember getting my hands on it. I think I dribbled once and then it got taken away. But I did get a second place trophy in a tournament that I hardly played in. I mean, everybody on the team got the trophy, so I guess that was something. That was the one and only year that I played basketball. I was done after that. So the other time he tried to teach me something was when he tried to teach me how to disc a field. My dad's a farmer, and of course he thought that his boys should learn how to farm. Now I had never driven a tractor, let alone learned how to pull a disc and everything behind me. I mean, he was there with me in the tractor and just, I mean, if you've ever driven a stick shift, you know about the how to work the clutch and the brake and that spot in between, and then there's the gas pedal. It's just a lot going on at once if you're just starting out. And then I'm in control of this huge tractor pulling behind me a disc, and you can imagine that it did not go well. I mean, I think the steps should have been a little smaller to start off, but again, he's not a great teacher, and he just thought if he knew how to do it, then it should be simple to teach somebody else. Yeah, that obviously that didn't work out well. I ended up getting sick, and my mom had to come and get me. He wasn't too happy about the whole situation, but I don't blame myself in that. So, like a lot of straight men, not all of them, but many, he would try to tell you how to do things. And straight men will often try to help women with what they see as the woman's problem, when often all they should do is listen. My friend Allie has a friend who often mansplains things to her. He also just discards her advice and other things she says, but if he hears it from a male friend, it's like an epiphany. Or like she was saying, she'd been trying to give him some advice about something, and he had been brushing it off. But then the other day, he said the same thing she'd been saying to him, but it was as if it was his idea. Like all of a sudden, he got this revelation. So obviously, he hadn't been paying attention to her or listening all those other times. This and other things I've seen from him indicate that he's very sexist. I get this sometimes too. If a straight guy knows I'm gay, as if it weren't obvious already, I'm sometimes treated like a female, which isn't necessarily an insult, except when the guy is sexist and treats women as if they're less than. A lot of straight guys, because I'm gay, they assume I don't know anything about cars. Now, to be fair, I don't. I know a little bit. My grandpa taught me how to change the oil in my car, and I've changed my own air filter. I've changed a tire on the side of the road when I had a blowout, but I don't know a whole lot about them. Now, I do know how to screw things and nail things. And oh, sorry, I am talking about tools here. I can use a power drill and a hammer and nails. I've done a little bit of just minor handiwork around the house, but I just don't appreciate assuming that I don't know how to do things because I'm gay. Yes, I'm in touch with my feminine side, and I think that's part of the reason why females and gay guys are so compatible. As a gay guy, I can commiserate with females. I don't try to mansplain things to them. I listen. I like to do things that they like to do. Of course, we have the attraction to males in common. I think we understand where they're coming from because, like I said, we're kind of treated very similarly by straight males. Being a man, but also being gay, creates a different kind of viewpoint. I can see that there are some idiots out there doing things and posting content on the internet that makes me want to cringe. Now, a lot of guys, and not just guys, a lot of people just can't help themselves, and they'll start going off on the person and telling their opinion about them, and it'll get in a heated argument back and forth. But in the end, does it really change either person's opinion? No, not, I would say not very often, if ever. But that's kind of how the straight man perspective is. And again, I'm not talking about all straight men, but it happens quite a bit. They can become aggressive and just try to force their opinion, and it just doesn't work. Gay guys, a lot of gay guys are in touch with our feminine side. so we don't have the insecure hangups of straight men. We don't need to be seen as intelligent, authoritative, or always correct. We just know that we are, and there's no reason to point it out. I'm kidding, kind of. We just have nothing to prove. Now, when it comes to gaysplaining, most of the time, gaysplaining isn't using words at all. It's simply a look. You may not even know what the look means exactly, but you'll get the vibe. And that's probably all you'll get. We could throw shade your way and you may not even realize it. We're accepting of everyone, but stupidity is on another level. So if you'd like to read that article, it's called Let Me Gaysplain Something to You. And like I said before, it has been my most popular article so far. I cross posted it on my publication, but it was originally on Smilly's. So I encourage you to go check it out. And before I go, I want to remind you to please subscribe to my publication. I'm going to put links in the podcast episode notes so you can subscribe. I've got options, so if you don't want to pay the full price, you only have to pay as little as $2 a month. That's only $24 for the entire year. Now, if you think about that, that is a really good deal. You can get all my podcast episodes and all my articles all year long for only $24. I would really appreciate any of you if you would become a paid subscriber or upgrade if you're already a free subscriber. Either way, though, I really appreciate you listening. I appreciate your support, whether financial or emotional. I always respond to comments, and I would encourage you to leave your comments or suggestions. I'm very open to taking suggestions and incorporating them possibly in future articles and podcast episodes. I plan on doing more collaborations in the future. Allie is wanting to do another podcast episode with me. Our last one was pretty fun, so I'm really looking forward to doing that again. And I've been talking to another writer, and we're possibly going to be doing some episodes together as well. I hope you'll continue to listen and look for those to come out. So, with that, I hope you have a great Sunday. And before we go, say goodbye, Zoe.